In a time of Apple watches and smartwatches, let's talk about traditional watches. Hey guys, what's going on? This is going to be my second watch review, and the name of this watch is Seiko Presage SSA365J1. I think that's how it's pronounced, since the Japanese call this product line Presage. I don't know if you can tell from this video, but the second hand on the Rolex has a smoother movement than the one on the Seiko. This is because the Rolex movement has higher beats per second. Seiko's mission was always to create the best watch in the world, although the brand is known for affordable watches. Well, this watch is affordable if you compare it to a Rolex, but it still costs as much as a PlayStation 4. So it's like wearing a PS4 on your wrist. Enough talk, let's look at it from a different angle. What I like about this watch is it's super easy to adjust the time. Pop it out, adjust the time to whatever it is, and pop it back in. I wish I had a special camera so I can show you the attention to the small details. Good watches are like, look closer, look closer, look. As we can see here, this is one of Seiko's mechanical watches, meaning it does not require a battery to move, as opposed to the battery-powered quartz watch. The battery-powered quartz watch was invented by the same company back in 1969. This was called the quartz crisis. Why was it called a crisis? Because this invention almost made the Swiss watch movement obsolete. The Swiss watchmaking industry was a very big part of Switzerland's economy at the time. This was not the only time Seiko shocked the Swiss watch industry. Until the 1960s, there was a long tradition in Switzerland to hold contests to certify the most accurate watches in the world. The best watch companies competed here. Famous companies such as Omega, Longines, and Girard-Perregaux. In the observatory competition held in 1964, Seiko struggled, their best finish being 144th place. But 3 years later, Seiko finished 4th place, the first place being Omega. Seiko never managed to do any better than 4th place because the next year, the contest was cancelled for good. So instead, Seiko headed for Geneva, where they held another contest. In the Geneva competition, Seiko movements became the top finishers in the mechanical movement category, beaten only by quartz watches, which is nearly impossible to beat with mechanical movements anyways. These quartz movements were from a company backed by the Swiss watch industry. The Geneva competition was then cancelled for good as well. This ended a long tradition of contests held in Switzerland. I don't know the exact price of the Seiko Presage, but when I googled it, the retail price was around $600 US. But let's say it's about $600. Let's compare a $600 Seiko to a Rolex. They both have sapphire crystal. The Rolex sounds a lot more solid because it probably is. The Seiko Presage is one of the most affordable watches with a sapphire crystal and a self-winding movement. The Seiko Presage has an accuracy rating of 45 to minus 35 seconds per day. One thing I can say is the Rolex is a lot more accurate between these two. But the reality is a cheap quartz watch will always be more accurate than either of these watches. The name Rolex is associated with luxury. The name Seiko is associated with affordable watches. Did you know that Seiko makes watches that are $300, as well as watches that are $3,000, as well as $30,000, as well as $400,000? One of my dream watches is the Grand Seiko Snowflake. I think the price is around $7,000 US. Good luck to me. So, Rolex versus Seiko, my conclusion. The price point is completely different, but of course, my personal favorite will be the one I spent more on, obviously. But the main character of today's video is this guy right here. I will end this video by simply saying, I'm happy with this purchase. By the way, in 2009, the Swiss chronometer contest returned. Guess how Seiko did? Unfortunately, Seiko could not join this time, as the new rules stated, all parts used to build the movement must be made within Europe. Poor little guy.
Hindi na ako makapag-antay na makita ka muli. You still be holding me right here, right here.